Are you the Dave Water who used to work for ACO?
No.
No. Sorry.
So we have a half hour or so planned for a panel discussion, and then after that, the idea of today is to have lots of people talking for a short amount of time, so they've got lots more things that they want to talk about, so you can then go and talk to them and find out if they have 20 minutes, what they've said. If you've got questions, some that you sent to me, but we're going to ask in a moment. If you've got questions, keep sending them through Twitter and email, and these people would love to answer them. Can I, just in case anybody here doesn't know who the panel are, can I ask you just to introduce yourself very briefly so everybody knows who you are? I'll pass from this end. Okay, thank you.
This on? I'm Pete Stevens of Mythic Beasts Limited. My job is to keep the Raspberry Pi website up and running so all the faults can post nice problems. Hi, I'm Alex Bradbury. I'm a PhD student here at the lab, and I've been doing various software development work on Raspberry Pi. So currently I'm working on the Debian Wheezy based distribution images which we're putting out. So we're just about to make a new release, hopefully around this weekend.
Hi, I'm Bert Fando. I more or less the hardware man behind the 2035 chip. I'm responsible for everything inside there, so we go wrong, blame me.
Hi, my name is James Hughes. I'm again a colleague with Eben and Gert at Broadcom, but probably more known as one of the moderators on the Raspberry Pi website.
I'm Eben, I'm one of the founders of Raspberry Pi.
I'm Liz, you might know me from the internet.
So, the question we have now, there's about 8 people have asked the same question, so I'll be trying to combine them together. So, are there questions for model C, D, E, F, and G? Hang on. When will the model A be released? Why didn't you use micro SD cards? Why does it not have this? Why is it? So, tell us such technical things together.
Okay. The reason it has the feature it has, basically it's a breakout board for a DCM 2835 SoC, so we have the features that the SoC has. Why didn't we, so I suppose why we have Composite, for example, we very much require a chip that could do high def and standard def video. Why do we use standard SD cards? They're harder to use in the classroom environment, and people tend to have them kicking around a little bit more than they do micro ones. When's Model A coming out? Very soon. There was a video I think I accidentally gave the Inquirer a scoop a couple of weeks ago by waving Model A around. Prototypes do exist. They are buildable at the price, and they're coming out in the next couple of months. The other one was future models. We have no current plans for future models.
Okay, now we've got a bunch of questions from Martin Garthwaite in London, Jeff Hamer in Berkshire, and Tony Jeffries in Cambridge. So Martin says, what are the plans for a faster processor? Jeff says, how is the foundation intending to ensure that Raspberry Pi keeps its security on? And Tony Jeffries wants to know, what are your plans for Pi 2?
That's this one again. It's a little bit delicate, right? And there was once a computer company called Osborne Computers that pre-announced its next product a long time before it was ready and killed itself that way. We're very careful not to talk about future products. Obviously, we'd love to do something in the future, but I'm not lying when I say that we don't have any current plans to do it.
Actually, do you want to get Alex to talk a bit about Raspberry as well, please? What do you think about processors? It's nice to talk about Raspberry processors.
Okay, yeah, well, I'm going to interject to, so we currently have, so we're working with, people who read the website will have seen the work that Mike Thompson and other people have done on Raspberry distribution, which is a pretty amazing community project to rebuild essentially, well, all of the tens of thousands of Debian packages optimized for the ARM-v6 processor, which we use in Raspberry Pi with floating point enabled. So very shortly we're going to have a new release out which offers substantial performance advantages. Should be out in the next few days.
Yeah, obviously the other obvious route to getting a little bit more performance is overclocking. There is a little bit of overclocking happening in the device at the moment. If you want more overclocking, you have to overclock it, which currently toys
We've got a question now from Bernard Miller in Bristol in West Berkshire, and from Andrew Scheller in Cambridge. And they've asked lots of questions about the GERT board. Some of the questions have been, what is the GERT board? But they're asking specifically, when will it be available? What is it, first of all?
The GERT board is an extension board for the Raspberry Pi. It's really targeted from the beginning for teaching. That doesn't mean it's prohibited from being in the other fields. It's a generic I/O board with potential Pi from the student into the outside. It has buffers, it has A to B converter, D to A converter, it's got motor controller, overcollector, and it's got an HML chip compatible with the Arduino board. I sent a prototype of the board to Gordon, he's through here somewhere, and Gordon managed to get the GERT board and Raspberry Pi working together with the Atmel development kit. That means you can run the Atmel development kit on the Raspberry Pi itself, and with a couple of wires you can straightforward upload your programs and run them on your Arduino chip. When it will be available? He's working very hard on this. One of the things we try to avoid is to come out too soon, find out there's a huge demand for that, and then still have to disappoint about 90% of you there. So that's something which is, the same way as the Raspberry Pi organization underestimated the amount of interest in that, we have no idea what the interest is for the GERT board. Plans, I'm hanging myself up on 2 to 3 weeks, we expect to have the board out. It will be a kit format, and we hope to have enough to satisfy significant people number of you. And the reason why it's not out yet, we don't want to disappoint you by having a video around.
Okay. Now, this question's not me, it's one of my questions, so I didn't send it to myself. Okay. As I understand it, when a lot of the concept of the Raspberry Pi came as a solution to a problem, which was identified that students were not coming to Cambridge to write such a level or caliber or to write such a volume. And lots of other people, and I'm sure people here would agree with me, that perhaps there's been some deficiency in ICT education in the UK, and that the Raspberry Pi is one solution that will help solve that. However, thanks to the likes of, maybe Mr. Catherine Jones and the BBC and a few other people, the success and popularity of Raspberry Pi has spread globally. And I've seen there's people in India and China and all these kind of places. How do you feel about people in the less developed parts of the world where maybe labour is lower cost? Do you think that there's something you're willing to share, or what to say about that?
Well, developing all this stuff is actually really, really exciting for us, because when we started this project, we were thinking in really small local terms. This was supposed to be a Cambridge thing. It was going to be getting people into the university. And as we went on, there were lots of other people in the UK saying, well, we think we have a link to this too. And then, as it got bigger, we had a lot of people approaching us, especially from developing world charities, saying, we could really, really use something like this. So, yeah, we're actually working with a bunch of universities and schools overseas. I've just been talking to people in Indonesia this morning, actually, about getting Raspberry Pis for, initially it's mostly local schools, but there are also people who are looking at the Raspberry Pi as more of a productivity machine, which is not something we expect people here to be using it for so much. But there are people who are setting up businesses, again, I was talking to them last week in Africa, allowing people in the village to come along and use a computer to browse the web, do web processing, do business work, where the Raspberry Pi actually fits really, really nicely. It's, and we're looking at ways to get it driven off solar cells as well. And yeah, there's a lot of work there still to do, where we have a bunch of things that we want to do, but yeah, stuff is ongoing. Oh, I guess.
I kind of like holding the microphone, really tell. So maybe this might be questions for other people in the panel. So we've had Rhys Gale in Cambridge and Terry Ellis in Oxford. They're both asking, one is, do you have any job opportunities, or how does somebody get a job working for the Raspberry Pi Foundation?
So we don't have any employees. We have one full-time volunteer, and we have a lot of part-time volunteers. So yeah, we've got to where we are with no employees. I think probably over the next 6 months to a year, we are going to have to professionalise the foundation a little bit. When we do that.
Brazil turned around to the government and said we need to get 100,000 of these units, what would your response to that? They give you cash orders for 100,000.
I think it takes about 25 days. That's our current build capacity is about 4,000 a day. They're being built. Well, I mean, the problem is that obviously a lot of those aren't available to go to Brazil because they're being sold to other people. But it's 4,000 a day. We're working to increase that.
Brilliant. Well done.
Okay, we've got a question from William Gardner. You may have seen the video earlier from Heber. And he asks, do you see that the Raspberry Pi might evolve into the core of commercial products in the future?
Ooh, that's a tough one. Yes, I can't see any reason why not. You've seen the boards that have been demonstrated. Vertical, both have the ability to interface with the real world. So there's no legal reason why you can't just buy one, put it into a product, and then sell it. Obviously, you have to maintain the usual EU regulated automotive product adheres to those.
Yeah, I think also because we're a charity, there are actually a lot of people out there who think that we're not interested in seeing people develop business applications of the thing, which is about as far from the truth as you can get. We're actually really, really interested in seeing other people make lots and lots of money out of this. We think British entrepreneurship's really important, and we want to see you guys making things and selling them, sticking them in your display units and in shops and restaurants. We've had a bunch of people looking at doing those little ordery things that you have in restaurants for good products. And I think they're coming at about £400 cheaper if you use a Raspberry Pi rather than using off-the-shelf technology. So there's a lot of opportunity out there.
Would you say, well, combining the answer to that question with the previous one, like how do you work for Raspberry Pi, that in many ways lots of people here are already actually working.
Yeah.
Liam, as I understand it, perhaps being unpaid to do all these Raspberry Pi tutorials, he's actually in fact working for Raspberry Pi.
Yeah. So I think.
Oh, and downloads.
Yes, absolutely. So we are. I mean, this is something that started off as a collaboration between the university here and Broadcom here in Cambridge, and it was a fantastic example of industry and academia working together. I think it's now become a three-way collaboration between those two and the community. And in terms of where the work is being done, the vast majority of the work is now being done out in the world, not being done under our control, and that's a good thing.
The cases are a really, really good example of that, because when we launched, we thought, well, let's sell 10,000 of these. It's going to be really expensive for us to injection mold cases. So tell you what, we'll wait until they're a bit more popular. That took 6 months. And then we'll look at doing injection molding. But we saw, within a couple of days, people were already producing, first of all, 3D printed cases. Lots of people have now set up businesses making their own cases. And it means that there's this great big ecosystem now that you can buy a custom case, you can buy something that perhaps suits your taste a lot better than something that we might have chosen. So I'm not sure that you'll ever actually see an official Raspberry Pi Foundation case. We really like the fact that you guys are making them and selling them, and yeah, it's great.
I've got the microphone, so I can answer this one if I want to. It says, is there any intention, this is from John Holt in Cambridge, have you got any intention for getting into schools to enthuse and energise students? I'll turn that to the panel first to go.
Well, certainly, we do have a bunch of interns working here at the Future Lab over the summer who are working on educational material. We had a small workshop where some people in the audience today came along and we discussed with teachers about how we could best work towards getting material out there. And we've heard lots of stuff today about various activities people are already working on. So there's lots and lots of things which are in the pipeline, just to try and move towards building up that body material where teachers can go online, interact with the community,
technical question, and then the two which are slightly humorous. So, the next one is, are there more Raspberry Pis coming soon so that I can get hold of one? That's from Lucy Wade in Cambridge.
Is Lucy Wade here?
Oh, she's waiting, she's over there. Hello, Lucy.
I did the drop. I wasn't here for the Riscos thing. I have 200 Raspberry Pis with me. If anybody would like them,
Did you say 200?
I have 200
You have 200
Raspberry
Raspberry Pis
Pis.
here.
I just stepped out here. Yeah. It's actually incredibly cool that I can carry 200 computers and they're more powerful. So after this, I will be out there. We can sell them 21 volts and 30 quid each, which is basically what you pay, including press the back.
£30 each.
Which is what it's approximately paying, including press the back and buy them currently from our supplier.
And obviously all that money goes to the foundation, but we're not skimming it.
We are skimming it off.
On the round.
Is it possible to put Lucy Wade at the front of the queue as... Yeah.
Fun.
So, Lucy, you're not going to wait 20 weeks.
Mention I've got pie facing spaces as well.
Okay, so Andrew
Not
Robinson.
but you can get a nice set of pie and pie face.
So Andrew Robinson, who was talking about Pie Face earlier, he's brought some with him, and if you're interested in them, form an orderly queue. Not just yet, but we'll let you know. And there was a question, somebody saying, somebody from Virginia, in the US, Ken Irving. Is Ken here? Oh, because I would have just given him a Pie Face for free, which is better than Pie Interface. Well, Ken wanted to know if there was going to be a prototyping interface to Raspberry Pi for custom add-on boards. So we've seen quite a lot about that today. Is there anything that's worth adding into that? Gert boards, Pi Faces, X10Is. Oh, lovely.
This might be a good opportunity to talk about the camera interface. Since that's technically an add-on board. And from those of you, I was particularly interested by the Zoom presentation earlier, which looked absolutely fantastic, especially from a Zoom point of view, which is obviously going to need some sort of add-on board for the camera. My day job does involve working on the camera interface. I think I was in the first ever picture. I was in the first ever picture taken with a Raspberry Pi. So it's I think that will have to be my claim to fame. I can't imagine getting another one. We only have one prototype, which was designed by Gert, sitting on my left, and got working by a bunch of people at Broadcom in their spare time. So it's another good example of community effort. We do need to decide which camera module to use. These things are taken out of, well, not taken out of mobile phones, but they're the same manufacturing as mobile phones. They're the same things you get in those things. And they can be quite expensive if you don't buy enough of them. Mobile phones obviously built in colossal quantities, millions upon millions. And you get a hell of a quantity discount by that. So there's, I think Evan has been doing quite a bit of, I guess it would be negotiation. And as soon as we know that, we can start working on getting these things out to people, because I think they're going to be a very, very popular add-on board. Yeah.
Negotiation's done. So it does look like we should be in a position to offer a camera board in the $20 to $25 range. Fairly short. Maybe next year.
I don't think I can beat that announcement. It'll be a 5 megapixel device. It'll probably need a little bit of tuning. I don't know whether any of you are familiar with the efforts required to make a camera phone module actually take pictures where you can actually recognise people in it, but there's an awful lot of work goes into making them look good. The same camera interface is used on probably what's regarded as the best camera phone in the world at the moment, and that was developed by the team in Cambridge. So we've got a good pedigree in that area, but that did take a year to get working properly and to get the picture quality out. But obviously, it won't take a year on this one. Hopefully we'll be able to use up some existing knowledge in that area see how long it takes once we get the chips on board. But we need to design a new board to take this chip and then get the software working and the tuning done. But then we should be getting lots of pictures of animals from.
Okay, for our last question, we'll give you a choice of two questions to answer. You can either answer Chris Dawson from Cambridge, his question, which is, assuming that the universe is infinite, the speed of light is constant, and that time only travels in one direction, what did you have for breakfast this morning? Or you might answer this question, who is your hero? Who are your heroes? We're all of them having please.
You can make any decisions.
That's an excellent question.
Either the breakfast or the hero, please.
Breakfast and hero. I think like the heroes is probably a whole bunch of the 80s game developers who spent lots and lots of time writing computer games in the 80s, particularly for Spectrum, because I can afford BBC, whose code I disassembled and read, largely sold for cheap.
For breakfast, eggs and apple.
Oh, this is very difficult. I don't have heroes at all. So I probably would have to hesitate between one of people controversial Ford, which somehow I think would be seen as the father of making this terrible consumption society possible by making the goods very cheap. And the other, of course, would be the inventor of the light bulb, which I think was the president of the industry. Sorry.
And this is going to sound terrible, but breakfast I think I had some of those little white mice.
Alive?
Feet, they wiggle too much. As a hero, I think I might be stepping on Evan's toes here because I think that Elon Musk will pay her.
Oh, please.
I hadn't realised. I hadn't realised that Evan was a big follower of the space industry, but I think what Musk has done over the last, I think, 10 years has shown up government-funded engineering to such a massive extent.
I mean, the guy's basically Tony Stark, but he's real. I don't know if he flies around with a running ball suit. I don't tend to eat breakfast. I tend to have an early lunch, and I had a ham and cheese sandwich.
And I have the other half of the ham and cheese. So heroes for me, people who come up with stupid big ideas and then do them. So people like Jeff Bezos and Neil Stephenson got them long out, and that's just stupid big. But Tim Schmidt, the Eden Project. These people with huge visions who actually carry them through. We sort of did this by accident. We thought it was a little thing, and it kind of got away from us. But yeah, those people who actually know what they're doing when they do it. I really am.
So, will anybody in the audience name the creator of the Pong game 40 years ago? Can you name him? Nolan Bushnell. Famous quote, and he says, lots of people have great ideas, but it's the ones who get out of, in the shower. You get out of the shower with this great idea, you dry yourself off, and then you make it happen. And we've got people here who very clearly got out of the shower and made these things happen.
And he went on to do Chuck E. Cheese shows on pizza restaurant.
Maybe not one of his best ideas. So, and it's fantastic to be in the space. I said you're in the best place to be in the world today. The nicest kind of people here at the front, at the back, and even the gentleman with his hand up. He's a great guy. We'll find out what you want to say in just a moment. But I'm sure, Liz, you front a lot of the emails. You get lots of people sending emails all the time.
Some of them are horrid.
Oh, sorry. I'm sure you must get people all the time saying, you know what you need to do? You need to go and take the Raspberry Pi and do this with it. You need to go and do that with it. Do you have a response to that?
Yeah, do it yourself.
Which is kind of where I was coming from with Raspberry Jam. I thought, it's a great idea if they did this, but I'm sure they've got far too many other things to do. So, you go out and you do your Raspberry Jam, and you make it happen on your kitchen table, Starbucks, and we're going to listen to your question. Go on.
Right, it's to the takeaway from this particular meeting, I would urge that we not see Raspberry Pi as small in any way, a vision inspired after all, nor is it indeed limited to education. One of the things the first time through, as in the Acorn story, we were shoved off into a niche irrelevant to real world. This emphatically is not the case. I'm an engineer. I'm sitting next to people who want to use it for robotics. We've talked about industrial strength interfaces. What this means is it's got huge potential.
It sounds like you're saying, less yak, more hack.
Emphasize to policymakers that this is not a niche product. It's a vehicle for the realization of vision.
This is a vehicle for ideas. Thank you very much.